Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and I hope you guys are doing well today and everyone in between and all that. And this video is going to be about the 4 EZA details that dropped for GT just yesterday. And if you guys enjoy the video, please consider subscribing if you are new here, if you haven't already done so. And without further ado, let's get into details. And as usual, the way I do these videos is that I go over the details side by side. It's going to be very easy this time because these are super EZAs and these are very old units. Very, very old units, and it's high time that they did get EZA'd. Sorry, they're super EZA. And so if we go down here, starting with Vegeta is not gonna get his super attack changed. Super EZAs do not change the super attack, the active skills, the active skills conditions, and stuff like that. It's just the passive skill right here that gets updated. So he's starting out with 120% attack and defense and 30% chance of nullifying super attacks and countering with tremendous power. And this is already post EZA. His original EZA leaves a lot to be desired, and so it probably is going to be a complete overhaul. So if we go here, starts off with 200% attack and defense and 2 ki, and then launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. So 70% chance to be a super attack, and that's a guaranteed addition. Per super class ally attacking in the same turn, 100% attack and defense, and 10% damage reduction. Now, I believe, could be wrong about this, but I do believe this will equate to 300% attack and defense and 30% damage reduction if it's 3 super class allies in the same turn, including him. Because usually it says self-excluded when not. Okay, when there is an extreme class enemy or when there is another GT Heroes category ally attacking in the same turn, all allies 40% defense and a guaranteed crit. When attacking with 12 or more ki, 100% attack, and as the second or third attack on a turn, 100% attack and defense. Then when receiving a super attack, 100% defense temporarily, and a 50% chance of nullifying it and countering with tremendous power. The 4th year LRs, their EZA is just 30%. It's a medium chance to count. So this is already a bit of a step up, aside from the 4th year LRs boosted at the moment. But this is a step up of those kits already. Now, I believe the Goku is going to be very similar. We're going to go see that in just a moment. I will just say that this is a very, very solid EZA. I want to see how these units will perform once they get their Super EZA in game before I make any final decisions, because to me, this is a lot of attack and defense, right? Straight up, you're looking at 500% attack and defense, and this is attack and defense that is multiplying into each other. The 30% damage reduction is going to be massive, but that, of course, only matters if the stats itself will come out to be that high with all of this occurring. And I'm more worried about defensive stats than I am about attacking stats, because in the meta that we have currently, we need more defensive units than we need attacking units, more often than not. This right here is where it's really sweet, the receiving super attack part. Gaining that extra 100% defense will activate on top of the second or third attacker part of the passive, will activate on top of this passive support, on top of this passive, and on top of this passive. And that should tremendously add toward the survivability, as well as having an extra 20% chance to counter the super attack, and it's not restricted by type of super attack as well. I do believe that I would have liked to see at least another 10 to 30% damage reduction here when receiving the super attack, and then this would be a super top, super easy. But that's just what I am gleaning from this information without seeing it tested in game. Okay, on to the Goku. The Goku is going to be probably very similar. Again, the super attack doesn't change. Goku has 150% attack and 120% defense. And when attacking with 12 or more ki, 40% attack and 30% chance of nullifying an encounter with tremendous power when receiving a super attack. Okay? 200% attack and defense and a great chance of performing a critical hit. Okay, so instead of a 70% chance of another super attack, it's a guaranteed crit. I believe that could equate the same way, but Vegeta has built-in crit. Okay, I see what they're doing here. So for Superclass Ally, it's the same thing, 100% attack and defense, 10% damage reduction. Again, I believe that will end up being 300 percenters and 30% damage reduction. When there is an extreme class enemy or when there is another GT Heroes category ally attacking the same turn, it's the same kind of prerequisite. All allies attack a 40%, so Vegeta is a defensive support and Goku is a attack support, and he gets an additional guaranteed attack. Okay, again, have to see what's happening going forward. But here's where it diverts. Vegeta, when attacking with 12 or more ki, is 100% attack. Goku gets 150% attack. When receiving an attack as the first or second attack on a turn, he gets 200% defense. Vegeta gets 100% attack and defense as the second or third attack on a turn. And then when receiving the super attack, it's the same part. Same as the Vegeta, basically. 100% defense temporarily and a 50% chance of nullifying it, counting with tremendous power. Now, I do wonder this temporarily thing, but it probably just means just for the super attack, and that's just the terminology they're using with it. Vegeta doesn't gain anything on his super attack, just says greatly lowers defense, and Goku greatly raises attack for one turn, which is 50%, greatly lowers defense, which is 50%, and then raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. Goku is definitely going to be the more defensive one, and the one that is going to be more in the first or second slot. In the passive, it's literally just saying you're getting this extra 200% defense as the first or second attacker, and for Vegeta as the second or third attacker. It's just built up that way. Now, onto the Omega Shenron. This is the last of the 70%, 100% leads. Or is it 120%? Is the super attack there? 100%, yes. I believe this is the last of the 100% leads. And so we'll end up seeing what's happening here. So the super attack massively lowers defense, which is an 80% lower. Wow, that can stack up really quickly. His regular EZA details is 80% attack and defense. All enemies attack down of 40%. And full power category allies keep +2 and attack +40%. This is going to be enormous. Yep, 150% attack and defense, up from 80%. All enemies still get 40% less attack, and an additional 20% lowered for defense for 4 superclass enemies. Full power or GT bosses category allies keep +2 and attack of 40%, plus an additional 20% for characters who are also stream class. Okay, this actually makes GT bosses just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Okay, per extreme class ally, attacking the same turn, self-excluded. See here it says self-excluded. Chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of 20%, so 40%. And then 100% attack and defense when attacking. And when there's another full power or GT bosses category ally attacking the same turn, an additional 150% attack and defense, and launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack. When attacking with 12 or more ki is another 100% attack and defense. And as a third attacker on a turn, or when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down status, another 150% attack, and launches an additional super attack. This is an offensive monster, if you ask me. He's got the support, he's got the debuffing on the enemy. Of course, probably if that's not available, you know, it's kind of useless, but he's still got that. He's got 40% damage reduction because you're probably not going to run him outside of a GT Bosses team. Then again, GT Bosses is mostly Omega Shenron, so you probably won't even link with them. Let me just see. Yeah, just has the generic Omega Shenron. But it will be solid. Again, I would like to see actual numbers and actual ability before I make any final conclusions. I just feel like it's just a generic upgrade at this point, not anything specifically groundbreaking. I should say, with his kit. He has that additional. That has a great chance of becoming a super attack. It's not guaranteed unless, the opponent is in attack down or defense down, then he's got an additional super attack. I mean, most bosses nowadays, you can't lower defense or attack down. So I don't know how valuable this last part of the kit will be. And most often than not, it's going to be just this top part of the kit right here. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about this one. As of now, I'd say this is the bottom tier of the batch. I would probably put him alongside Goku Black or Frieza, something like that. Okay, there is one more EZA here, and it's Sin Shenron. Sin Shenron's kit is even bigger than Omega's. This is a regular EZA, though. This is not a Super EZA. It's the first time they're reworking the kit. So he goes to becoming a GT Bosses category lead of 150% in Key plus 3. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type. So tech excluded to Rainbow Key Sphere, so another Rainbow Key Sphere change. Key plus 2 and 150% attack and defense. 50% chance of a crit and 50% chance of launching an additional super attack. If it does proc, it's going to be a super attack, it's not going to be a normal. And then for one turn from the character's entry turn is 40% damage reduction. When attacking, he disables the enemy's guard, 50% attack and defense per key sphere obtained up to 350%. So 7 key spheres and he's fully up there. But this again is only when attacking. Imagine if it was just part of the basic effect and said attack and defense was 50% per key sphere obtained up to 350%. You could probably start putting him in the first slot on turn 1. You can't do that because it's only after attacking. 2 or more key spheres obtained, 20% damage reduction rate. Additionally, 3 or more key spheres obtained, another 20% chance to perform a critical hit, so that's sitting at 70%. 4 or more key spheres obtained, another 20% damage reduction rate, so he's got 40% damage reduction if you got 4 key spheres. Okay, that's actually rather good, not gonna lie. That is rather good for a banner unit. 5 or more key spheres obtained, an additional 30% chance of performing a critical hit. So 5 or more key spheres and you just don't have to put any crit into the hidden potential system. 6 or more key spheres launches an additional super attack, and 7 or more key spheres obtained 20% attack and defense lowered for 2 turns. And the super attack goes to greatly raising attack and defense for 1 turn and causes supreme damage to the enemy. This is a very solid EZA for a banner. Very, very solid EZA. You're talking about 500% attack and defense, like most of the time. A guaranteed crit almost entirely all the time. A 50% chance of another super attack, a guaranteed additional super attack. Remember, he's changing orbs to rainbow key spheres. It will be, unless you've got entirely a field full of rainbow key spheres, this shouldn't be so difficult. 5 to 7 key spheres should be very easy to obtain. And then he's debuffing the enemy as well for 2 turns. A different kind of 2-turn support. I mean, yeah, I think this is a very solid EZA. Okay, so as I was recording the last part, and as I finished, I realized that they had dropped even more EZAs on us, and this is the Part 2 batch. We have these are probably gonna have the medals, like, with missions, so that you will only have to do the event once to get all the medals. That will help with people who are just farming links and stuff and are not like holding on to that energy just for something to spend it on, or people who are still trying to farm Nova Shenron. In any event, let's just hop into the details. I'm gonna be rather quick about it because the video is already so long. First, we're gonna do Goku. So Goku's gonna use Goku's medals. The super attack is gonna go to 70% in all types key plus 3, which is nothing to write home about. 150% attack and defense. Per GT Heroes category ally attacking the same turn. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. 100% attack when attacking and 70% defense when receiving an attack, okay? Nothing great here so far, but then again, this is a really old banner unit. When all allies attacking the same turn are GT Heroes, another 100% attack. and a chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate of 50%. This right here would be great if it was 80%, because that would make him viable to a certain extent, but not in any of this in-game content anyway. If it was 90%, he would be viable in some of this end-game content, but even then, it needs to have that chance of being 100%. Okay, when HP is 50% or less, or when there's a GT plus category enemy, guaranteed crit and guard, it's nothing extravagant, but then again, it's a regular banner unit that's been in the pool for years. Okay, causes supreme damage to the enemy for the super attack and raises attack and defense for 30%. I believe that's a 30% raise. Again, nothing's amazing about it. Now we have Trunks using the Vegeta medals. Tekken STR types 90% attack and defense and key plus 3. 150% attack and defense. Randomly changes key to a certain type. It's an STR excluded to Rainbow Key Spheres, another Rainbow Key Sphere changer, and then a 30% attack for all allies. When attacking with 12 or more key, attack and defense of 150%. When there's another GT Heroes or Hybrid Saiyans category ally attack at the same turn, another 150% attack and defense, chance of performing a critical and damage reduction rate of 30%, and then all allies defense of 30%. Okay, and when all allies attacking the same turn are GT Heroes or Hybrid Saiyans category characters, you can't have two GT Heroes and one Hybrid Saiyan. It's a or thing. It's got to be all allies in that turn. 150% attack and defense, another 150% attack and defense. He's sitting here at 600% attack and defense, plus the support of 30% attack and 30% defense. And then another 30% critical hit and damage reduction rate. So he's got 60% critical chance, 60% damage reduction rate, and then another 30% attack and defense to all allies. Okay, this is a really good support, because I do believe this part of the passive will multiply into the other allies' attack and defense as well. If this did another key plus 1 would be even better. But man, this is a really solid banner unit, EZA. Wow. Super attack raises attack and defense by 50% for one turn and massively lowers defense. Alright, that's actually very interesting. Okay, on to the next one. Using Goku's medals this time. Pan going to do AGL and physical 90% stats and key plus 3, 150% chance. Sorry, 150% attack and defense, medium chance of evading enemies' attack, which is 30%, and 2 key for all allies. When attacking, another 150% attack and defense. When HP is 50% or more, 50% attack and defense, and all allies 30% attack and defense. When HP is 30% or more, another 50% attack and defense, and another 30% attack and defense for all allies. Okay, unconditional support, pretty good. When there's another GT Heroes or Youth category ally attack the same turn, another 100% attack and defense, and chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction rate of 20% when attacking. So she goes to 50% on this team. And then when all allies attacking the same turn are GT Heroes or Youth category characters, another 100% attack and defense, and another 20% chance of evading enemies' attack and damage reduction. Interesting. So she goes to 70% chance of evasion, and then 40% damage reduction if it's all GT Heroes or all Youth category characters on the team. Very interesting kit. I'm not sure if I would even think about running her outside of an event, or inside an event, I should say, that has a no dodge clause. I don't think it's a viable option here. It's 300% plus 100% plus 100%, another 100%. So 300 plus 3 said, if you get everything, it's 600% attack and defense. I just don't know how well that would have weighed. Okay, next we have, using the Goku medals, this dude, which we haven't in a very long time even thought about running. This is a nuking lead, 35% attack per SDR key sphere obtained, 200% attack and defense, 33% attack and defense to all allies, and an additional 1 key and 33% attack for characters who also belong to the GT Heroes or Giant Ape category. And then for one turn, has a medium chance of turning into a giant ape. Is that like right away? Or something that can happen anytime, and once that happens, it's once only? That's an odd way of putting it. Okay, never mind. 200% attack and defense when attacking, and when there is another GT Heroes or Giant Ape power category ally in this attacking the same turn, another 150% attack and defense, and a chance of performing critical hit and chance of evading enemy's attack of plus 50%. Interesting. That's not nearly enough, by the way. If that was 50% dodge and 50% damage reduction, I would be much happier. Gotta think defensively in Dokkan. And all allies attacking the same turn are GT Heroes or Giant Ape Power category characters, launches an additional super attack, and guards all attacks. It's an okay, it's a good EZA for a banner unit. Really, it is. It being the new key lead as well for STR is also good. Yeah. Super attack! 50% defense raise for one turn, and then raises attack by 30% for 3 turns. Alright. Now we go into the Giant Ape form. Changes key spheres from physical to STR. I think this is like the first time we see this. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, physical and STR, excluded to rainbow key spheres. And a high chance of performing a critical hit. And then greatly raises attack temporarily and causes destructive damage to the end. One last EZA for the batch. This one going on the Vegeta medals. 35% attack. Okay, so this one also didn't get. Yeah, this was another good lead. 150% attack and defense. When HP is 30% or more, 2 key and 100% attack and defense. 30% chance of turning into a giant ape, same as Goku. When attacking with 12 or more key, another 150% attack and defense. When there's another Inhuman Deeds, Corroded Body and Mind, or GT Bosses category ally attacking the same turn, guaranteed additional super attack, and 20% chance to crit, evade enemies' attack, and damage reduction. And then when there's a Pure Saiyans, Hybrid Saiyans, or GT Heroes category enemy, another guaranteed additional super attack, and another 20% chance to crit, dodge, and damage reduction. And then for every attack performed, 30% attack and defense up to 150%. So he could do this like really quickly, like 2 turns, and this would be done, even if you didn't put an ounce of additional into him. Wow, interesting. Super attack greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy, and then lowers attack. Attack and defense is 50% for raising and 30% to lower, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, on to the Giant Ape part. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type into excluded to rainbow key spheres. Medium chance to perform a critical hit, and then for every key sphere obtained, 170%. They're both not really great as nukers. They are banner units. They're not going to make them. I wish I was wrong, but yeah, they're banner units. I thought that was okay. 30% chance to perform a critical hit, and then the super attack is the same as Goku's. It greatly raises attack temporarily. Is it the same? Yeah, greatly raises attack temporarily and causes destructive power. All in all, good EZAs, random, and they're using the medals. I hope they give missions. The medals for the Goku and Vegeta, so I hope that they give missions for them. And it either gives us all of the medals, or just at least it makes it just a little simpler to get the EZAs done. Otherwise, we'll be running these stages multiple times over and over again. One last part of the video. It's not an EZA, but I do wonder if this guy's gonna get EZA. It's been 4 years plus since his release. 4 years plus. 52 months. I think this is like the longest any unit has gone without an EZA. I don't know of another unit that has gone so long without an EZA. Let's check out Yamcha. Yamcha released 2 years later, and he's already got his EZA. Ginyu, 2022, he's got already his EZA. Kale and Caulifla, 8 months after Gogeta, and they've already got their EZA, which is really good EZA, especially for longer events. I mean, it's high time this guy got EZA'd, and yeah, this was in December. I think they just forgot about this guy. I'll be honest with you, I think they just forgot about this guy. Or we're gonna get his EZA details really soon. And just a little flashback, he's got 50% already. Chance of nullifying encountering this for his super attack. This is okay, it's probably gonna come guaranteed. Yeah, I believe that this EZA is gonna be announced out of the blue, honestly. I wonder what they're waiting for. Alright folks, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.